Arknights!
Tecno is a 5-star shaper caster. She first became available during the Operation Loosen Arrowhead event alongside Ella in the Storm Reinforce Mission Cycle banner, but is now available from standard headhunting. Tecno has no combat experience whatsoever, likely due to her mostly being a member of the graffiti scene in Bolivar before joining Rhodes Island. She stands 130 centimeters tall, was born on the 30th of August in Bolivar, and is of the Duran race. In her archive files and promotion record, it's noted that spray-painted graffiti recently began appearing all over the landship, eventually tracing back to Tecno and a group of street artists, who were identified by the sickbay warden and made to clean up their work before being issued discharge papers. Despite the trouble she causes, Tecno has a gift for bringing joy to the other patients in medical, having once drawn a cartoon on a child's cast to help him sleep, and another time rigging a lamp to cast adorable shadows that distracted children scared of needles. When a boy later refused to let his cast be removed out of attachment to the drawing, Tecno surprised everyone with a rare serious moment, speaking to him about destruction and reconstruction and art theory until the cast was off, then gifting him a handmade sculpture she had shattered herself to recreate the piece. Her brash exterior may cause misunderstandings, but her sincere approach to both art and other people allows her to connect with almost anyone she meets. After an HR operator discovered an old newspaper article identifying Tecno as a celebrated Duran beauty who had once charmed a Dossalese TV station, Tecno reluctantly shared her history there to prevent rumors from spreading. She had refused the station's offer to sand down her art for ratings, and was subsequently swindled out of her savings while preparing a solo exhibition, only to be rescued by a stranger who introduced her to the vibrant local art community that embraced her puppetry wholeheartedly. That community lived difficult lives on the margins of the city, surviving in crumbling homes amid poverty and exhaustion, yet would sober up after nights of venting their frustrations and return to their work, continuing to refine the art they loved even in forgotten corners of Dossalese. However, the powerful interest that had always coveted that neglected patch of city eventually drew Tecno and her friends into conflict, leaving them no choice but to take arms in resistance. When Tecno and her fellow street artists became caught up in the Galleria Cristalua incident, a clash of interest between a Casimirzian businessman, a Bolivarian coalition representative, and the Dossalese government, brought disaster to their community and the opening ceremony audience, leaving the artists badly wounded after their resistance operations. In a Rhodes Island interview, Tecno recounted how she and her friends, despite their battered bodies, managed to pin down the orchestrator Ronell before realizing he had no intention of surviving, forcing her to improvise a solution using an inflatable puppet stand-in to smother the blast from rushing from the vents, though the makeshift landing did not go smoothly. She was dismissive of Ronell's grievances afterwards, arguing that if he truly considered himself an artist, he should have channeled his resentment into his work rather than endangering others over what his manservant called a complicated family situation. The toll on her community weighed on her, particularly the permanent hearing damage suffered by a musician friend who did not escape in time, and she wondered whether trained mercenaries instead of starving artists might have kept the damage from being so severe. In the months following the Galleria Cristalua incident, Tecno's outlook shifted noticeably as she distributed medication to the infected in her community and used her puppets to enforce safety protocols, having come to see romanticizing oropathy as a form of self-pity not unlike Ronell's after her brush with death forced her to reassess how she had long treated her own affliction. Though Ronell had signed the gallery and land rights over to Diaz before departing, outside interests continued to threaten the neighborhood, and as artists trickled away from the rebuilding community, they left behind their best works as parting gifts, inadvertently drawing tourists and inspiring the remaining artists to gleefully tag the nearby business district before being chased off by security. Tecno took this as proof that art was not confined to their own streets, and reflected that despite years in Dossalese, she had only recently come to truly feel the rhythm of the city. She looked ahead to traveling with Rhodes Island across Terra, experiencing street art from every corner of the world, and perhaps one day returning to her underground hometown to share what she had learned, though she admitted with characteristic bluntness that she was still a little angry about how things had been left there. Tecno is confirmed to be infected. She has a cell originum assimilation of 7% and a blood originum crystal density of 0.23 parts per liter. The notes in her medical file state that crystals are visible on the surface of her skin, and that her infection isn't an accident due to the street art community that she was extremely active in. In her character art, drawn by Dropfish, Tecno wears a black, zip-up dress with green smiley face on the side and a large black shoulder strap that's held in place by multiple strings at the top. A black skirt with inner green skirt, black choker with multiple silver necklaces, a bandage on her left cheek, earrings on her ears, a black head frill with chain over her head, black detached sleeves with leather belts, another bandage on her right knee covering some crystals, black thigh highs on her left leg, and black platform shoes. She holds her black and green wand in her right hand. In her voice lines, voiced by Kokoro Minamino, Tecno often talks of her art.
ドクターいつもお世話になってるから、コミュニティの友達に作ってもらったブレスレットをあんたに。その前に私にくれるものがある？じゃあ、まあ、遠慮なく？昇進メダルなんていいよ。それより、コミュニティのみんなに頼んで中層ビルぐらい大きなドクター人形を作ってもらったんだけど、それに被せるフードだけまだできてなくってさ。予備のコートとかもらえないかな？持ち帰って参考にしたいんだ。通路の落書きが何？消すの忘れただけって言ったじゃん。ちゃんと自分からクロージャに謝りに行ったし、濡れ衣着せられたアシッドドロップにはお詫びの品もプレゼントしたし、掃除当番の清流のシフトだって代わってあげたのに。おかがたじゃないの？ならいいけど。てか、次にグラフィティ描くときは、一緒にやってみる？コミュニティの人形を壊されてから、近所の電気技師んとこで半月くらい練習して、そこに自分のアーツまで取り入れたおかげで、私の人形はもう、ただのアートじゃなくなったんだ。アーツを使えばすぐに出てきて、こんな風に。悪党の顎に強烈なパンチをお見舞いしてくれんだから。この作品どう？棺桶みたい？ってそりゃ、棺桶だもん。ついでに私への追悼文も考えてほしいんだけど。心配しないでよ。アート展に出るために用意してるだけだから。私よりも死から遠い人なんて山ほどいるけど、どいつもこいつも死んだも同然のつまらない生き方してるから、ちょっと啓発してやろうと思ってんの。
At E2 level 80 with max trust potential and module, Tecno has 1,855 HP, 586 attack, 105 defense, 20 resistance, a 60-second redeploy time, 18 DP cost, and has a 1.5 second attack speed. Her range is the standard range for a caster. Her summons, the Puppet Dancers, have 1,544 HP, 398 attack, 345 defense, 20 resistance, 1 block, a 5-second redeploy time, and has a 2.5 second attack speed. They have no range tiles. At max trust, she gains plus 200 HP and plus 35 defense. At max pot, she gets minus 2 DP cost, plus 25 attack, and minus 10 seconds to redeploy. Her talent, Freestyle Puppetry, at E2, makes it so that after Tecno defeats any ground enemy within her range, a puppet dancer spawns where they died, up to 5 at a time. The puppets deal arts damage. Tecno has 2 base skills, with one being unlocked at E2. Her first base skill, Familiarity, makes it so that when Tecno is assigned to the workshop to process crystal-type materials, all morale costs are reduced by -1. Her second base skill, DIY Crystal, makes it so that when Tecno is assigned to the workshop to process crystal-type materials, she gets plus 80% byproduct rate. Tecno's first skill, Lock-In, gains SP over time and is manually triggered, lasting for 25 seconds at all levels. Level 7 starts with 6 SP and needs 28 SP to proc, while M3 starts with 10 and needs 25 SP to proc. At level 7, she gets plus 40% attack, puppets get plus 1 block, plus 40% max HP, and plus 90% defense. At M3, it's plus 50% attack, plus 50% max HP, and plus 100% defense for puppets. Her second skill, Poppin', gains SP over time and is manually triggered, with all levels lasting for 20 seconds. Level 7 starts with 15 SP and needs 40 SP to proc, while M3 starts with 20 SP and needs 35 SP to proc. At level 7, Tecno's range increases. She and her puppets gain plus 70 attack speed, and her puppets' attacks become ranged and can attack foes within Tecno's attack range. When the skill ends, all puppets respawn at the closest tile to Tecno. At M3, it's plus 100 attack speed. Tecno has an SOC-Y module named Official Coupon Stamp of the Barbecue House, which makes it so that Tecno's range expands. At module level 3, freestyle puppetry is fully upgraded, making it so that a stronger puppet dancer that has plus 400 HP, plus 100 attack, and plus 50 defense spawns where an enemy has died, and Tecno gets plus 15% attack when a puppet is on the field. She also gains plus 42 attack and plus 7 attack speed. To unlock and fully upgrade this module, you must have Tecno at E2 level 50, have 100 trust with her, have your own Tecno use her S2 at least once across 5 battles, 3-star Dosley's Holiday Stage DH-6, having Tecno and only up to 7 other ops as members, have 6 module data blocks, 20 data patching strips, 8 data patching devices, 3 crystalline circuits, 4 cutting fluid solutions, 5 transmuted salt agglomerates, and 150,000 LND. Tecno and her subclass are what you get when you can't decide between bringing a summoner supporter and a core caster, as she has the ability to summon puppets where enemies die within her range like a summoner, but can also deal direct arts damage like a caster. Because of this, you kind of get a jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one situation. Tecno and other Shaper casters, well, Shaper caster, are great at stalling foes when you don't have as many ground units to work with or deployment limits, since the summons don't take up deployment slots like summons from a supporter would, but they don't have the comparatively high raw damage output of core casters like Logos and Ea Fiala, for example. She does get a leg up on them with her module, which is particularly essential to using her, since it makes her puppet stronger and widens her range by 4 tiles. Tecno definitely serves better as a support operator than a direct damage dealer though, especially on maps when you have to stem the tide of enemies coming at you, and more bodies on the field are always going to be welcome. Medium high priority to build, but medium low if you already have Eblano. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Azure Lane and Uma Musume videos as well. Come back tomorrow for next week's character and story teasers.